welcome to our Totally Tubular show.
EMA. I'm Emily Ressler.
And I'm Morgan Glasgow.
Today we will be talking about three main topics that occurred during the 70s.
Our first event was on the Munich Massacre. Now to Arlene with more information on this event.
Thank you, Morgan. I am standing here today in the arena of the 1972 Olympics, where the terrifying bombing of the Munich Massacre just occurred. 8 Palestinian terrorists killed 2 members of the Israeli Olympic team and then took 9 others hostage. This situation was ended by a huge gunfight that left 5 of the terrorists and all of the hostages dead. I have here today Adele Mueller, a young woman who just witnessed this terrible event. How do you feel about this, Adele?
I don't even know where to begin. My family and I were in Munich watching the Summer Olympics, and the next thing I hear is gunshots being fired everywhere. It was all just one big blur. Personally, I think whoever did this should be locked away forever. It was a violent act that should never be repeated. Luckily, my family and I never got hurt.
Thank you for that, Adele. Now back to Emily with the next story.
Next up we have Amy telling the ending of the Vietnamese War that we have waited for a while now. Now to you, Amy.
Thank you, Emily. The Vietnamese War has been going on for roughly 20 years. More than 3 million people, including 58,000 Americans, were killed in the conflict. In January 1973, the United States and North Korea concluded a final peace agreement ending open hostilities between the two nations, finalizing the war.
Thank you for sharing, Amy. Finally, with our last story of the day, Morgan and I will be sharing about the death of the King of Rock and Roll.
Elvis was one of the biggest sensations of the 1950s to 60s. He was known as the King of Rock and Roll, so we are sad to say that our king is dead. He died last night on August 16, 1977 at the age of 42. He lived a very short life but will forever be remembered as a legend.
Yes, Morgan, very sad indeed. It was suspected that his family had tried to cover up his cause of death because it could have been associated with an overdose of prescription drugs that caused his heart to stop. Here we have Mrs. Murphy telling us about how she feels about the death of Elvis.
Oh, I think it's just awful, all the people who loved his music, and it's just shocking to know that this has happened to he and his family, and it's awful for our country.
Yes. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Here today we also have Ms. Jenna Herring telling us about how she feels about the death of Elvis. Well, that is clearly how Jenna feels about the death. Here we also have Mr. Leek telling us about how he feels about the death of Elvis.
Very sorry to hear of Elvis's passing. I thought for years he and Tupac were on an island together, but I guess since he's really dead, then his music will just live in our hearts forever.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
Lastly, here we have Bon Jovi telling us about how he feels about Elvis's death. How do you feel? I agree.
Thanks for tuning in to our Totally Tubular show. Catch you next time.
Welcome to EMA.
Hello! Butter needs to get off. Ew. Okay. Hello, and welcome to our so totally tubular show.
EMA.
Hello.
I wanted them to.
Wait, Emily, you go, EMA, and then you to do?
I don't, I can't.